everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it is your first time here. My name is Lauren, and on this channel we talk about books. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm really excited about it. It's actually going to be done in two parts. I put like a poll on my community page on YouTube because this video that you're about to watch is edited down. It's still about an hour and a half, and I am going to make it a two-part video, and this is part one. So I read Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I apparently have a lot of things to say. Hope that you guys enjoy this type of content. If you do, please let me know because I had so much fun. I would love to do more of these style videos for books in the future. So please don't hesitate to leave your feedback in the comment section. I am genuinely interested to see how you guys feel about it. So let me know. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the Fearless rant review video part one. Wow, I was just going off on a tangent and I wasn't even recording, so let's do this again. Okay, hello. I have some things I need to say. I need to talk to you guys. We need to have a discussion. Let me preface by saying that if you have not read Fearless by Lauren Roberts, watch this video at your own discretion, because while I am not going to intentionally give spoilers, I am going to go off on a tangent in about 2 minutes, and there may be things sprinkled in that tangent that someone may consider a spoiler or something that they didn't want to hear before reading the book. So I just want to put that out there. If you have read Fearless, please stick around so that way we can have a discussion in the comments, because I just need to know, like, is it me? Am I crazy? Am I having too high of expectations? Because let me tell you, I loved the first and the second book, and I am not a reader that has too in-depth critical thinking when reading. Like, I am kind of like surface level reading, if you will, and I don't mean that like in a bad way. It's just like I'm not the one who's like looking for the plot holes. I'm not the one who's, you know, coming up with like the conspiracy theories. I'm just not the one. Like, I'm just reading and like going off the vibes. But right now with Fearless, I am feeling critical. I am feeling judgy. I am feeling like, is this the same author who wrote Reckless and Powerless? Like, is it? I took some notes and I'm just gonna kind of read over what I wrote in my notepad and I guess like elaborate where elaboration is needed. But basically I just feel like, why is Peyton so okay with her situation with Kit? Why is she just like, this is my fate, I guess it's better than death? Like, yeah, I guess that's true. But this is what I typed. I was like, why is Peyton so agreeable to marry Kit? To stay alive? Okay. To unite the ordinaries and the elite? Okay. I get that. I get why she has to marry him from like a plot perspective, but I guess what annoys me is, why is she so agreeable? Both her and Kai are just like, okay. Like, does that not infuriate anyone? I feel like we should be having more hardcore arguments. We should be angry, especially between Kit, or not Kit, but Kai and Peyton, because like at least one of them should be like, "Rawr, no, like this isn't happening. You know what I mean? And then that's gonna cause like turmoil between the two of them, because it's like they love each other, but she's has to marry Kit. Why are we not pissed off? No one is pissed off. And I want to know why. It just feels like a really unrealistic response to an extremely unfortunate situation that they have both found themselves in, especially Paedon, because she's the one who has to actually get married to Kit. And I just feel like the lack of like pushback, the lack of just the lack of all the things that I feel like should be there is just like, it's infuriating. And yeah, in the story, Kit and Kai have like a conversation, and it's supposed to be the conversation that convinces Kit to drop this marriage. And it's like, it's just like a chill, calm, lackadaisical conversation. There's like no yelling, there's no hostility, there's no run of emotions. I mean, I didn't read yelling on the page, but whenever Paedon comes into the room as well, she does mention how everyone could hear because of their yelling. But in the unless I missed something, in the conversation between Kit and Kai, there was no like, I shouted or he raised it. There was no indication that there was hostility between the two of them. I mean, maybe there was like a shift in tone or like a look was exchanged, but there was nothing, in my opinion, that indicated this conversation was heated. I don't know, maybe as a reader I missed something, but I just was like, while I was reading their conversation, it did not feel hostile to me. It did not feel like, what the hell, dude, you're marrying the love of my life. You're my brother. I know you're the king, but you're also my brother and I love her. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like if I was Kai, I would be like, how dare you to my brother? And in that talk, Kai doesn't even tell Kit that he loves Paedon. I'm sure Kit knows that Kai has feelings for her. But it's like, there's just no like declaration of love in that conversation. I feel like that should have been something that was said, the argument that was made. Like, you can't marry her, I love her. And instead of there being some kind of like declaration of love, or at least explaining and expressing his feelings for Paedon, he asks Kit in this conversation, he's like, don't you hate her for killing our father? And Kit's response was like something to the effect of like, do you? And Kai's like, I don't know if he says it out loud or if it's just like an inner monologue kind of like thought, but basically he's like, I could never hate her, like, or hating her is like complicated, or like whatever he says. It's just stupid. Like, it's just the dumbest thing. He's like, there's just no outrage on the page. Like, no one is like, I guess, upset enough for me. Like, everyone's just like kind of accepting it, and there isn't really like, they're not even like accepting it in like a begrudging kind of way. They're just accepting it like, okay, I guess this is what's gonna happen. It's dumb. It is dumb. And while we're on the topic of things that are dumb, what is up with this Callum guy? Is he a slippery snake? Because I feel like, why are we trusting him? And how Kit explains how he came to trust Callum, and Callum's like vision for the future between the elites and the ordinaries, and how realigning themselves, having themselves intermingle within the kingdom is going to make the kingdom prosperous. I'm just like, if you are the son of a king next in line, and you just learned that an ordinary murdered your father, why would you align yourself? Like, what would bring you to align yourself with the leader of a resistance who was against your father, the king, that's just been murdered by another ordinary who was also involved in your resistance organization? It's like, sure, that could happen, but lead me there. Like, the explanation that was given, of course, I've just started the book, so maybe more, obviously more will be given, hopefully, but this is a recap of what I've read so far, and this is where my feelings stand so far. And I just feel like Callum is a slippery snake. I feel like he's gonna be a bad guy. He's gonna be someone who betrays Paedon, who has ulterior motives. I just feel not good things about him. And I know that the king had Kai kill Paedon's father, but like why? Like what? I don't remember what prompted that. And I feel like Callum has something to do with it. I guess that's my conspiracy theory. But yeah, I just feel, I feel icky, and I feel like Callum is up to something. I feel like he is like a double crosser. I just feel like we shouldn't trust him. Also, I have to ask, who wrote this book? Because ain't no way the same author of Reckless and Powerless wrote Fearless. I just feel like the tone of this book, the writing style, and like the language, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say. I just feel like it doesn't read the same as the other two books. I feel like so far, I feel like we just put ideas into ChatGPT and it just like spit out what's on the page, what we're reading now. Because I feel like the sentence structure is really short. It's really choppy. I feel like the dialogue especially between Paedon and Kai, it just feels really uninspired. It feels really basic and almost juvenile. I feel like it's very much like, this is what I want my story to be about. This is what I want my characters to be saying, and produce it for me. Like, it just doesn't feel, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't, I don't remember feeling this way in the first two books. I don't know. It just feels very, like, cheap. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel thoughtful, and I don't know. I don't know how else to say what I'm trying to say. It just feels not great. And right now, Paedon and Kai, their relationship, their dialogue, their like what they're going through, it just feels really like unbelievable to me, especially like their communication with one another, like what they are saying to one another, their response to what is happening. It just doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel thought out. It doesn't feel well-rounded. It just feels, the relationship just feels unbelievable, and I'm not connected to what they're going through, because I feel like their response and their communication with one another it's just not doing it for me. It's not there. Something is missing. Like some like believability points, I guess, are just missing for me. But with all that said, with all those feelings out in the open, I am only on page 58. I am about to start chapter 7. I haven't picked this book up in like 2 or 3 days. I think I started on like May 4th or 5th, and it is May 8th today. I just haven't wanted to. And it's so crazy because the first two books, I ate it up. But so far, I have not been inspired to read this book. And I refuse to DNF it because I read the other two and I want to finish the story. But right now, I'm not loving it. But I am gonna read, hopefully, my goal is to read at least 100 pages of this book tonight. And I will check back in with you guys tomorrow sometime to let you know how I'm feeling, what my opinions are of the next 100 or so pages that I read. I mean, it really can't get any worse from here, in my opinion. Like, my opinion of the book can't get any worse. So I guess we'll either stay the same or we can only go up from here. I'm trying not to get too discouraged because, like I said, I'm only on page 58, but just all of what I have already said to you guys just like weighs on me, and I'm just like, is this what the whole book is gonna be? Like, is this how I'm gonna be feeling for the next 500 and some odd pages? I really hope not, because that would suck. But I'll check in with you guys later. Hi everyone, good morning. Cheers, coffee. It is Friday morning, around like 7, what time is it? 701. And I did do some reading of Fearless last night, about 50 pages. So I just wanted to hop on here before the day begins. Okay, let me grab my notes because I did take some notes once I finished reading last night. So I am at the start of chapter 13. I'm at page 108. So I think I read exactly 50 pages, which I know isn't a lot. And while I am still feeling like some type of way about the writing style, I think it's because the book is written in first person. I don't know if I've like developed a new like dislike for first person writing, but there's just something about, because I've definitely read first person writing before and like not really cared or given it much opinion. But I don't know, there is something about the writing in this book, and maybe it being first person contributes to it. I don't know. But the writing just isn't doing it for me. Like I kind of find it annoying. I just feel like she's like saying, the author is just saying a lot in like little sentences. So it's like, I did this, I did that, I want this, I saw that, it's just like, oh my gosh. But I will say, am enjoying like the book, like the story more than what I was in the first 58 pages. Kai is starting to display some like displeasure regarding Kit and Paedon's engagement. In the first 50 or to 60 pages, it felt very just like it was an acceptance, like no one was really displaying that they were upset, which really just took me by surprise because I feel like that would be highly upsetting. And so in these next 50 pages, Kai is definitely starting to display that he is upset, that he is not happy. But it still feels weird to me that he hasn't told Kit about his relationship, about his feelings for Paedon. I get the vibe, the impression that even though Kit may know that like something has gone on or there are some type of feelings between Kai and Paedon, I don't think that he realizes like the depth of it. I think that he just thinks that Kai is like infatuated with her. You know, she's beautiful, she's daring, she's outspoken, you know, she's all of these wonderful things. And so of course, you know, there's an attraction there, but I don't think Kit realizes that he's in love with her. Also, Paedon still is just kind of like accepting her fate. She like still is of the notion that she has to marry him for the kingdom, for her people in the slums, for the ordinaries. Even with her towards Kai, she's just kind of like, this is the future, this is what has to be done, this is, you know, blah blah blah. And it's just really strange to me. But Paedon and Kai are still like sneaking around. They're meeting each other under the willow tree and the fighting ring. You know, they're having these little cute intimate moments. And of course, eventually you're gonna get caught. So, and I'm sure the king slash Kai's, you know, brother is not gonna be pleased that his brother slash enforcer is, you know, meeting up and hooking up with his betrothed. I feel like that's not going to end well either. Okay, this next part is probably a spoiler, so spoiler alert. But I've also gotten to the point where Paedon now has to enter these trials to prove herself as worthy of being queen. And I'm just like, really? Like, are we just trying to be the Hunger Games? Like a one-man Hunger Game show at this point? Because she's the only one that's going to be participating in this trial. But I mean, we'll see. I haven't actually gotten to the trials. I'm sure it's going to be like entertaining. But I just feel like, is that all that we know how to write? Is someone going through a trial? I guess stick to what you know. But from like a plot standpoint, I do find it really interesting that Callum was all for her doing the trial, especially because it was his idea that the king marry her. I don't know if necessarily his motives are, you know, bad for Paedon. I don't think that he has her best interest at heart, or why would he encourage the king to marry her? but I just think I think that right now his character, like I've got my eye on him. Okay, I had to take a slight pause because my children needed me. I refilled my coffee. I walked my oldest to the bus. So it's been like 20 minutes since the last time I said something. So my brain has been other places since then. But Callum, I know we were talking about Callum and how I do not trust him. I think it's strange. Not like strange, like bad writing strange, but I think it's like interesting how it was his idea for Paedon to marry Kit, or really for Kit to marry Paedon. And he's also agreeable to her going into these trials to prove her worthiness as queen. I also am definitely paying attention to his ability to mind read. There are a couple of places where his mind reading ability has stuck out to me as far as like when Paedon is involved. And I kind of have like some questions about this ability. I took some notes on this. So on page 88, Paedon has a thought about her father's journal, about like her father not really being her father. She says, well, she thinks to herself, well, not my father, just the man who raised me. And at that sudden thought, Callum's brows rise slightly in surprise. I sigh, shaking my head. And then Paedon says out loud to Callum, I'll explain later, but for now, thank you for everything. I just wanted you to hear me say it out loud. So I'm like, what was Paedon actively thinking how she has gratitude for Callum? And so Callum could read those thoughts of gratitude and, you know, tell her you're welcome. Because before that, he just randomly says you're welcome. And Paedon is like, oh yeah, that's right. He can read my thoughts, you know, and whatever. I guess she is thankful for him arranging this marriage so she wouldn't die, because in turn now the slums and the ordinaries are going to get support from the kingdom. So I guess she's thankful for him in that way, and that's why she's mentally expressing gratitude, which I'm like, girl, please. If it's not because Paedon was actively having thoughts of gratitude, is Callum just able to dig into her mind? I feel like based on that context, that's not likely. Like, she must have been having active thoughts and he was able to read those thoughts, because later on page 91, Paedon mentions her father's journal again, but this time she mentions it out loud. They're having a discussion of like how the elites are revolting against the slums and the ordinaries, and their disdain is also now reaching towards the mundanes, which I guess are people who possess no magic at all. But I thought the ordinaries possess no magic at all. I need to like read up on like the difference between, I mean, to me mundane means absolutely no magic, but Paedon is considered an ordinary and she also has no magic. So I don't know, I could be like mistaken on like the difference between the two. I don't know. But either way, they're talking about how the elites, their dislike is growing past just the ordinaries, and now they are not wanting to have like the mundanes in their kingdom either. And Paedon is like, well, yeah, I could have told you that. My father's journal mentions how the mundanes would become the new ordinaries and the elites would, you know, hate everybody basically. And in the book she writes, and upon mentioning her father's journal, it says, Callum's eyes meet mine, seeing right through me to learn of my father's journal. I've never been more thankful for his mind-reading ability than in this moment. I don't even have to address the questioning look in his eyes. He can go right ahead and find the answer in my mind. So again, I'm like, can Callum just see anything? Is Paedon having to actively think about her father's journal and what she's learned about her father's journal? Or can Callum just go in her mind and dig around and look for, you know, what he wants to know, you know? Because if that's the case, that is scary. Like, this is like a really intense ability to have, and also. It like makes you wonder the truer motives behind him, convincing Kit to marry Paedon. It's like, does he see some type of desire in Kit for Paedon that maybe Kit isn't acknowledging or wanting to admit to, or I don't know. Or maybe he saw that Kit's intentions were to kill Paedon, and so in order to save Paedon's life, he proposed this marriage. Like maybe he really is a good guy, but or at least that's a good deed that he did, because if he saw Kit's true intentions to kill Paedon, I don't know. There's just something about Callum's character that's just like, ooh, I don't know. I just feel like there's more there. Oh, okay. I just got to my note about that random chapter, at least so far in the first 100 pages, of Kit and Kai's dad, the dead king. What is it, Edric or something? What is that about? I mean, I think that's kind of cool because like it's kind of a curveball, and I love a curveball. And obviously this is written in past tense because he is dead, and this is like in this chapter, Iris, the Kit and Kai's mom, she's pregnant with Kai. Like she's about to give birth to Kai. In the chapter that we are given so far, she's about to give birth to Kai. And the chapter, you kind of see like a softer side of the king. He kind of talks about his childhood and how his father raised him. He was illiterate, and his father was really cruel to him for that. So you kind of get like a backstory on like how he was raised and how he became a brutal king. But my major takeaway is there's something about the birth of Kai that is like alluded to being the king's undoing, like the start of his downfall. I don't know if it's just because like we're foreshadowing because he falls in love with Paedon and Paedon in turn kills him. I don't know. I feel like there's probably something deeper than that. Like maybe Kai really isn't his son. I don't know. That's like an automatic go-to, but I don't know because it says, what does it say? It's like, it's worded really particularly. Yeah, so it says, so when Iris cries out in pain and the dampness spreads the covers beneath her, the end is very near for Edric Azer, at least for the dwindling bit of warmth within him. And so I know that the father trained Kai to be the enforcer. So maybe like that has something to do with it. Like he is, unleashing brutality on Kai. Maybe it's because Kai falls in love with Paedon and Paedon kills him. Like, I don't know, but I feel like there has to be something deeper, something like a unlocking of information, because why else have a chapter on him? I'm sure there's going to be more. I don't know why there'd be that one random chapter. So I think that's really interesting. I love when something unexpected happens, and that was definitely something that I was not expecting. So I think that's really cool. I like that little bit of the story. So I guess all in all, at this point in time, I am feeling a little bit better about reading the book. I'm feeling a little bit more energized and excited to read the book than what I was prior. I know you cannot judge a book just 50 pages in, and if this wasn't on my TBR and I didn't want to talk to you guys about it, it's possible that I wouldn't have finished it like right now. I would have picked up something else. I'm like, maybe I'll read this instead. And I'm typically not that kind of reader, but I don't know. I was really not into this book the first 50, 60 pages, but I'm feeling much better about it. I'm feeling more excited. I'm feeling more like I want to read more of it to see like where we go with this. Paedon is still infuriating me with her attitude, just like, or her non-attitude. She's just like, whatever. I think the trials thing, I'm just like, okay, whatever. I do appreciate Kai's, I appreciate him starting to display that he's not going to just go along with this. Like, he wants to be with Paedon. He wants her to be his future. So I don't know. I feel like Kai is going to be the one to really become outspoken about how he wants to be with Paedon and that he loves her. You can't have her. As long as like there continues to be some development like that, I will be less annoyed. I think that Peyton's attitude is intentional from the author. Like, I think that it's meant to be annoying. So I'm just writing on that. I'm just telling myself that to make myself feel better. I feel like it has to be intentional, right? Like, she wrote this character in this way. It has to be intentional. I think that it's meant to be disappointing or annoying or infuriating. Like, you just like want to shake Peyton and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you making this choice? Like, fight back, you know? And like, she's not. So I am going to try to read a good chunk of this book tonight. It is Friday, so I don't have to feel like bad about staying up late or guilty or whatever, because I don't have to get up super early tomorrow. I can sleep in if I want to or if I need to. So I will probably, I mean, I want to read at least like half of this book. I think percentage wise, I'm only like at 17%. I would like to at least get to the halfway mark before Saturday morning. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I will check in maybe tonight if I'm able to get some reading done during like my lunch break, or if the day is slow, I will try to get in as much reading as possible, a couple chapters here and there, because the chapters are relatively short. So yeah, so I will do maybe a check-in tonight before I go to bed, and I will definitely do a check-in tomorrow. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, I think I'm going to conclude this for part 1. I know it's a little weird and choppy because I wasn't expecting this to be 2 videos. So I'm kind of like filming intros and outros after the fact. So I apologize if it feels kind of disjointed, but that was part 1. I hope that you guys had a lot of fun. Again, let me know in the comments how you guys are liking this type of content. If you have any feedback or criticism or whatever the case may be, don't be shy. Let me know down in the comments. I want to make content that you guys enjoy watching, and you know, all those things. So let me know down in the comments if you've read Fearless, and or you've read up into the part that I have talked about in this part of the rant. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know how this book has made you feel. Do be on the lookout for part 2. I feel like that's gonna come pretty soon. Most of it has already been edited. I just need to really add an intro and an outro for that video, so that way it makes sense when it's uploaded. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon.